This is the dynamic that I think is starting to happen. And, I think that when you're a young company now looking for how do you go to market, how do you hit the channel with a SaaS solution, you would be really remiss not to pay attention to this phenomenon.
Can I add something?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Just want to add something. What Anne said, that we are in transition mode. So therefore, we are now really those middle companies, I would call them, have to do something in order to survive. And one of the steps to survive is to adapt to the new reality, where the big vendors that they live from change their models from products to services, and therefore they have to adapt to the new SaaS model and see how can they make money from SaaS. But at the long term, I think that they will not be needed as today, since the internal IT will be reduced and many parts of the internal IT will move to the public clouds. Therefore, we need less integration, we need less support, the IT department be less people, etc., etc. We always need some kind of support and maintenance and integration, but the more years we're moving ahead, the less we will need it, because the public IT will be much bigger than the internal IT, because of course performance and the IT is not my main business of most of the companies, we know that. But what I think will be needed is all the services around the platforms of SaaS, which is software development, added values that each company will need to add for its own unique needs. And we see today, for example, in Salesforce ecosystem, that they build channels of companies that have R&D facilities or software development facilities, and they are like the added value sellers. Because they can come to a customer and say, I'm not only giving you the infrastructure as a SaaS, but I can customize the solution for you very quickly with the best people they have. And this is the way they build channels today.
So I'm going to jump back to where Anne was talking about, and then I'll come back. Right now, I had about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, within about a 3-week period, I had the opportunity to speak to the either the CEO or the president, whoever's running not North America necessarily, but the United States, as far as the 4 top distributors. So the 4 top, just if anybody wants to know, are Ingram is number 1, Tech Data is number 2, Synnex is number 3, and D&H is number 4. And I spoke to all 4 of them. And it was coincidental because all of them asked me if they could speak to me about where they should be going with all this new stuff. And I don't know what happened. Maybe there was because there is a global distribution organization where they all meet. So it may have been because they were talking about it there. But the reality is that they all came in and said, how do we get rid of this SaaS stuff and this managed service stuff? And I said, you don't. You own the partners, the relationship with the channel. So start thinking about how you can get the channel involved in it and what you can do. So what they have done, and all 4 of them have done the same thing, and unfortunately, it's not working very well for any of them right now. And the reason being is that what they did was they decided that they would become the specialists on all the different SaaS solutions, which is great. And that way, when a channel partner phones up and calls, that they were going to be there to be able to answer the call and tell you, here's the one that you should be buying, and here's how much it costs. Energetic, and they like to make phone calls out and and talk to people, but they don't know how to sell it. So until they decide that, hey, we're really in this business and we're really going to change our staff to be the right type of people, they're not going to be the right ones to do it. But I think that one of 2 things will happen. Either they will change over and realize that they have to and take the big loss because it's going to cost them a ton of money to do so, but they'll get it back. Or you'll see new types of distributors coming in. And would you call them?
Cloud aggregators or cloud
aggregators, yeah. So you'll see people like that coming in, And I mean, the telcos could be great for that, but you'll never see them doing it because they,
So true, they are.
are they?
Absolutely, absolutely they're doing it.
They're
Okay.
becoming cloud
Um,
providers themselves.
They're playing providers and they're also doing aggregation.
Okay, I knew they were doing it for themselves. I didn't know they were
Actually,
doing.
we have a company in
oh.
Canada that is
Who's that?
Saskatchewan Telecom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're probably our most progressive.
They have a
in-
business app store and they've got all sorts of app solutions up there and
See, I told you I always learn something on this, but not from my own backyard. Come on.
Saskatchewan, who lives in Saskatchewan?
All right. Real quickly,
I'm just going to comment, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to point out that, my opinion only, but, just because it's SaaS, doesn't mean it's not very complex software, right? I work with Salesforce.com all the time, just because that's what I do for a living, right? Every company I've been with, we have to bring in a consulting group, right? That's just a specialty unto itself. If you're selling a help desk software in the cloud type of thing, right? The business process that you have to put behind it, right? You get a ticket and they went broke. The triage and the tree that you have to build of the people that need to take care of that, it's very complex human resources and integration type of stuff. So I don't see, yes, the channel changes from being something that you have a team of army people that install something on site and then leave, and you have big, huge expense accounts and things like that. That changes, okay, but the complexity, I think, is whether it's workspace or other very complex technology, I think it's out there. I think what's the interesting challenge or the interesting thing through from this room's perspective is, if you do have a cloud solution, how can you, and these channel partners are struggling with it, right? They're trying to make some money at this and they're not, getting it that quickly. How can you leverage that? How can you take that guy that's not quite getting how to make money with the cloud, take your solution, bring him in and say, here's how you can make money. I'm going to train you on the business process behind it. I'm going to train you on how our technology works. I don't want to put a whole army of people out there. Can't raise that kind of money. It doesn't make sense. So I think that's part of the thing to think through here.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to wrap it up because I know we have to
Yeah,
go through. What I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
I'll start with you. You can answer whatever you want to say now, but then after that, I want each one of you to give one piece of advice that you would give to this group.
With your permission, I want to start with the advice because I think most of the people here are somewhat remote from the topics that we cover here because they run small companies. They ask themselves, what am I going to take from this panel? And I think one of the key questions is, how do I find channels and what is the right timing to start dealing with channels? And my advice will be very simple. You have to find a direct customer that will be able to be an anchor customer for you, so you will be able to point this customer as a strong reference. Channel partners will never spend a minute with you guys if they don't see a success. And the best route to win a channel partner and to win his commitment is the following. You win a customer. Let's say that you want a customer in Washington, D.C. And this customer starts to buy from you. It can be a hardware product, it can be a software product. And you make a decision that you want to find a channel within the DC area to serve the local market. You find the right channel, and I'll tell you in a second how, and you tell this channel, you start working with me, and this A customer, I will make sure that you will be serving him. So he gets revenue from the get-go. He see the dollar coming in tomorrow morning. Yes, you're going to suffer a cut. Why? Because there is a middleman here, and he needs to take his cut. But this will pay off itself significantly. This is number one. Number two, how do you identify a partner, a potential partner or potential channel? You ask yourself, who's complementary to my business? If I'm a Salesforce.com application developer, what I would really like to do is find who are the channel partners that sells within this industry in the territory that I want to penetrate, and convince them that I am complementary to their business, I am adding to their sales because they can sell more to the same people, and that's a key. Sell more to the same guy that in any case you're going to spend 2 hours a week or 2 hours a month meeting with. So instead of selling him something that in total the potential is 100K per month or 100K per quarter, you now can sell 200K. Same guy that understands the business, doesn't need to go through the whole training process. The third advice, start very, very, very focused. Don't even think about putting 10 different channels at once. Start with one, and one only, and appoint a guy in your company that will be the channel manager. He will be measured, his MBOs, his bonuses will be measured on the success, or God forbid the failure, of the A channel that he chose to work with. And it should be a channel that is accessible. I mean, if you're based in Israel, I wouldn't go to the I don't know, Indiana as my first choice. Why? Tough together. Choose a territory that you can cater, that you can serve. Otherwise, you will fail, guys. You don't have enough money to support too many mistakes.
All right. Avner?
Okay, I will add to what Igal said, that one of my experiences that I experienced that at the end of the day, at the channel there is a person, the person that needs to sell my product, and you need to interview the guy that will work for you and makes sure that he's a tiger and he knows how to sell, and not somebody that sits in the office and has 20 more products to share during his day. The ideal person obviously be a dedicated person for your product, but it's not available all the time. But you have to interview and meet personally the person that will sell your product, make sure that he has the motivation, that he is a tiger in sales. Because we know also in our salespeople, how do we measure salespeople? You know the metrics. So you have to make sure that this guy that in the sales channel that represent you has the same things that you are looking for in your own salesperson. And don't leave it to the manager of the channel. So yes, I have these great guys and they will do the job. Meet them personally. That's one advice. And not always choose the biggest company. Sometimes a small company with very motivated people can do much better job than the big company that has to sell 100 products. A third thing connected to what we spoke before about the new cloud economy, that if you can sell via virtual channels, if you're a SaaS company, obviously that's a different thing. You have to map your customers and see to whom you can sell directly, to whom you need to have a call center and sell via the phone, and then obviously you have to choose a company or your own build-up of a call center of salespeople. Like most of the SaaS companies in Israel, by the way, that sells overseas, they have their own local call centers that they build with people that have foreign language, native foreign language in English, France, etc., based on your target market. And if you're going to sell to the enterprise, because of the cultural things we spoke about, you'll have to have more budget to fly and meet personally the decision makers. So this is the things you have to take care of.